Good evening to you, my friends.
Good evening, my friend, and welcome.
It is a pleasure to come and to talk with you and to instill within you that knowledge and understanding that you are spirit. You are part of the Father God, because it is important that you understand your spiritual pathway in life. For each one of you has that pathway that is for you and only you. In that reading, we heard how John was there doing his work, linking with his spirit within and with God, the Father, to bring people to the understanding that they should be baptized in the river as a testimony to their way of life, as they too walk forward to bring the light of Christ into the world and allow it to have expression. You see, whilst you walk your pathway, you will be asked, well, who are you? And what are you doing? What right do you have to give a testimony to your understanding of the spiritual realms of life? And so it was John that baptized Jesus, for he too was on a spiritual pathway, but although they were related in family, they had different pathways to follow, to expand their spirituality and their spiritual awareness. And they were both to be questioned throughout their lives on their purpose, because the authorities in those days were asking many questions, because they already had power over most of the land. Shall we put it that way? And so you see, you will always be up against authority. Authority within your material physical world, those that think they know the answers to all of the problems, whereas in point of fact they are making more problems and they do not realize what they are doing. In your world there is much that causes concern to us in the spirit world. There is much that causes concern to you as a community, as an individual. But you must have faith in the power of the Spirit. For those in the spiritual realms of light always band together, so that there are those that we can use as channels. Just as Christ was a channel for us in the spirit world, you too can be a channel to shine that light for good and healing. You have done so in this service up to now, for you have given time to think of all those in need. You have given time to think of your own needs and of those that you know that are in need, that would wish to have help from the higher realms of life. And so you see, that is all good, because we are able then to use that light in its abundance. For the more that you open out your own spirituality, the brighter the light that is carried forward to our world. And so, yes, you have links in many far-reaching places in your world, and we have links also within your world, because it is a constant duty of ours as those enlightened ones from the realms above to keep guard on what is happening in your world, because you see there is much worry and trouble, there is much negativity, in your world because of people wanting power. And you see, misuse of power does not help. It just causes a lot of panic within individuals. And when a life is lost in your world, it must be remembered that it is a rebirth in our world. And so there is no harm to the individual spirit. It is only harm to the physical body that was housing that spirit, that individual, that soul, that will move on and try to link in with all those that wish to give aid and understanding about spirituality, about the spirit light, about the world that is thought, that has nothing to do with the physical existence. There are so many in your world that are disinterested in understanding about a spiritual life that you live here and now, not a spiritual life that you just live when you return to those realms of the spirit world, minus your physical body. That is why there is so much written about Christ's ministry along the earth plane. But he was always put to the test. He was always asked difficult questions. He was always put out into what you may term the firing line. And today in your world, it is not religion that is important. It is the motive with which you use your spirituality and your gifts, because they can indeed move mountains, you see. Too many wish to wear labels and say they are this, they are that, or the other. And then they are fighting for recognition. And that is how your wars start, because they want to oppress the spirit within mankind. And we want to ignite the spirit within mankind to bring forward that light, that peace that you all yearn for. It is a little tough to live in the physical world, to live with your spirit confined within the physical body. But you are all present in the physical in order to shine the light forward of the spirit. And so that is the crux of the matter. That is why the authorities will always want to know what you are about, what you are doing, and be amazed at the work that can be accomplished through a strong connection with the realms of light. Because you have always, from this particular environment, managed to push that light forward into various corners of your world, of your earth world. And we aid at every opportunity that we can. And so we want you to understand that you can play your part. You can indeed have that courage, have that faith, have that trust. Look within the Holy Book to find many answers, because, as we say, Christ was always being questioned and having to give forth answers that were understood by the individual, but by the masses also. He brought peace. He brought love in abundance. But even his efforts were, what shall we say, not appreciated by the powers that were there in that day, that wanted to rule over everybody, you see. And they thought the way to win through, of course, was to crucify that one individual. And yet, you know, the story didn't end at that point that you call death, because it was only the death of the physical body. And that is for everyone, whoever you are, what you are doing is what is important. So take up your arms, my friends, not in the way of guns and treachery such as that, but in the power that you own, that is the Spirit within you. Because in so doing, then there will be much in your world that will change for the better. And the first thing that we ask of you is that you find peace within your own mind, within your own self, as you go through your day-to-day living. Because it is in the day-to-day living that you have to forge forward, because there are obstacles placed here and there for every one of you. But when you can link with that Spirit within and understand the great power of God the Father, then you have all the ammunition that you need in the fight against the negativity and the treachery that there is in your world by those that misuse the power within themselves and then say that they have God's permission to bulldoze themselves forward and to take over power from the people, from mankind itself. And so we want to give you that courage. We want to give you that understanding of the light. We want you to look at the work of John the Baptist and Jesus the Christ and those others that have come to walk the earth plane, that have worn the badge of Spirit. Never mind the label that they wore as to what religion it would become in the minds of man. You see, you have a thinking mind that is yours to control. You are able, all of you, to be channels for the Spirit. You can go about your day-to-day living, giving of yourself, and being able to see where there is a need in others, that you may be able to help fulfill, as they disbelieve that there is a world of light and love. They do not wish to understand that the Spirit continues, that death is nothing but rebirth. And so it is that you will always have those that come forward to demonstrate how the Spirit can be used and utilized to the glory of God the Father. And so we say to you, my friends, fight the good fight, and good night, and God bless.